Hello everyone. We're going to start the first lesson on globalization. This is the first lesson that will frame the whole course. This week we're going to do the readings from Cohen and Kennedy, Global Sociology. This book was chosen because it has both the positive and the negative aspects of globalization. Some of the readings have only the positive aspects of globalization while neglecting some of the negative consequences of globalization. But this book, I find that it has both the positive and also some concerns about globalization. So I think it's a much more balanced book than some other books that are available. So I want you to do some readings for this week. And let's see what we're going to talk about this week. In this lesson, we're going to discuss what is the 6 dimensions of globalization and then the internal dimensions that we called globalism. In globalization, we're trying to talk about how the world has changed in very fundamental and significant ways since about the late 1980s and early 1990s. We're witnessing dramatic changes in the world that has made life very different from what it was from beginning of the 20th century, mid-20th century, and so on. So we want to document to what extent the world has changed around us. We're going to look at important international organizations such as the UN, and more importantly, we're going to look at transnational corporations as they have fundamentally affected our lives. Now, some of the transnational corporations are even larger than some smaller countries. So you can imagine the impact they have in international negotiations and bilateral negotiations. So we're going to look at some of these very important changes that have taken place since the 1990s to understand to what extent the world has changed around us. And then when we look at the 4 aspects of globalism, we want to see if this has really taken hold in our thinking, in our interaction patterns with other people, and the way we act. In the 4 aspects of globalism, we're going to talk about concepts like global citizenship, having a local and global awareness, and also acting globally. That means some students doing volunteer work, not in their own country, but going abroad during summer break and winter break and working hard in some developing country and so on. Now in the 4 aspects of globalism, we're going to see if the objective changes in globalization has affected the way we think in our minds, the way we act because we know that the world has changed. Let's say there is a grandmother who lives in the countryside who has been affected by globalization in the sense that she watches TV, she reads the newspaper, she knows that her children, grandchildren love internet and this and that. But she may not have changed her thinking or her lifestyle. In that case, we would say that she has been exposed to globalization, but not really globalized. So we're going to try to understand the differences between globalization and globalism. And that's what we're going to talk about during this lesson. So these are some of the concepts, as I said, that we will discuss during this week. And in particular, I want you to look at global problems and solutions. Now, because the world that we live has changed in some fundamental ways, the way we must act also should change accordingly. When we look at global problems, we're looking at environmental degradation, terrorism, and all these problems that affect not just one country, but the whole world. So the solution for these problems also has to be multidimensional, it has to be multinational, and we as global citizens must all participate in the solution and the solving of these problems. So these are the key concepts that I hope you will pay attention to when you're doing the readings and taking part in this lesson. Thank you, and I will see you next time.